就不要提了，那么错了。
Nowadays, plastic have been become a kind of pollution of our environment. So today we will talk about whether the plastic should exist. So what do you think about it?
From my personal perspective, I think plastic bags will be banned. This is mainly because it pollutes our ecosystem. If plastic bags are put into the sea, it will be separated into the small pieces. Fish may eat them by mistakes, and finally, if people consume those sort of things, by fishes or some shellfish, we will eat them finally, and it's bad for our health. Um, Maybe disease or cancer.
Yeah, but you mean ban the plastic is mean people don't use the plastic anymore.
Right.
Do you think it's very absolutely to ban the plastic?
I think there are many alternative ways to solve these problems. Maybe we can use some bags made from cotton or polysticks. Polysticks, I think they are quite useful and they are very affordable.
Yes, this is great solutions. And do you have any other ideas?
I agree that the plastic bags we use can cause some pollution to the environment, but I think it's impossible to ban the plastic bags because it is convenience. People are used to use plastic bags in supermarket to carry their things to home, and you mean you talk about we use some other materials to replace the plastic bags.
Right.
Yeah, for example, the McDonald used paper bags to
Yeah.
carry food, but for something else, I think the other material bags are not solid enough to carry something like seafood or something white food. I mean, that will destroy the paper bags, and I think a plastic bag is a better choice for things like that, seafood or wet food.
Personally, I think with the development of technology, I think the problem will be solved because, for example, in McDonald's they add some coating on the coat on the cotton on the paper bags and made them water resistant. So I think if we utilize this with we can use to catch some seafood for a long time, long enough to
Yeah, but-
bring it to back home, right?
Yeah, there are some technologies to prevent the paper bag broke, but the McDonald's provided the customers a plastic bag to carry their cold drink. So I think it's not enough slow to prevent the paper bag from the white food. So I think a plastic bag is necessary for our daily life.
How about even some bag used from different materials such as rubber, because rubber is water resistant and also they are very cheap, and it's reducible. Right? How do you think of this, Kenneth?
Well, I think that although plastic bags maybe cause some air pollution, water pollution, but in our daily life, we also use some plastic bags. So I think that the government should limit the number of plastic bags. And nowadays, the technology is not mature, so we should develop some advanced technology to to create another materials, such as biodegradable materials to promote this situation.
You mean the government limited the number of production of plastic and use other technology to biodegradable the plastic. But I think nowadays the technical is not very advanced to biodegradable the plastic. So
I remember in my country there is a kind of degradable plastics that are widely used to contain some foods. We make them as a plastic bowls or cups to hold some drinks or foods. I think maybe that's a very useful way.
But maybe this kinds of material not be promoted in public.
yes, I think the people used to use the plastic bags when they go to supermarket and buy some goods. And I think the plastic bags, because it is convenience and people can use it secondly, such as use it as a rubbish plastic. Rubbish bags. So I think if we ban plastic, I think it's impossible for nowadays.
I just mentioned that we can utilize some other ways to other kind of bags, such as cotton bags and polyester bags. So if we utilize those sort of things to when we are shopping, I think it could help to reduce the pollution effectively.
Yeah.
I think sometimes it's not convenient for people to carry a bag with him every day. You can't carry a bag every time, and sometimes you may just you after your study or after your work you will go to the supermarket. I think that was impossible to for you to remember carry a reuse bag in your bags every day, and sometimes you need to. I think it's a good idea to make people pay for their plastic bags. I mean, if you need plastic bag, okay, the supermarket will provide you that, and you have to pay for that. And if you need actual plastic bags, I mean, I think the price should be a high price for that, and to reduce people overuse the plastic bags.
Right, I agree with that because without any limitation, people will use plastic bag without consideration its drawbacks. Maybe increase the money or you should pay for it. People will think about this.
Yes. So we can improve the price of plastic bags. If the cost is little, I think people don't care the money they pay for the plastic.
But some people care money, especially for someone who go to supermarket frequently. So I think another solution is that maybe in Australia, lots of supermarkets, when you pay for a bill, the seller will organize your food sorted by different bags. If you buy some seafood, maybe use plastic bags. If you buy other stuff, maybe use reused bags.
Yeah, this is a good idea. I think you mean we can classify by the bags, and if something needed to use the plastic bags, they could use the plastic bags, but other things we can use other kind of bags.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is a good
But
idea.
I don't think it's a good idea because it is too difficult to recognize the exactly definition of different products. Most of when people buy something, they use it to discount their money by themselves. So they need to put everything into bags by themselves. Maybe they will still utilize the plastic bags and they will not obey the rules. So I think we need to push them to utilize some alternative ways. I don't think we will still use plastic bag. It should be banned.
Yeah. But I think the supermarket or other places can make a rules to enhance people to use the other sort of bags. Don't you?
What kind of rules do you think is useful? Can you give us some more specific examples?
Such as the seafood, something like the seafood, the people can use the plastic bags, but other things like the
Bread, vegetables.
Yeah.
yeah, and some snakes will use other material bags.
Mm.
Yeah, I agree with you in this way. In most supermarkets, people utilize plastic bag to hold their bread. I don't think it's a very good idea.
Yeah, I think the plastic bag is not just for carry the bread or vegetables. Sometimes it may use as to keep fresh of them.
Keep fresh.
Yeah.
Mm,
The plastic bag can protect them from the air if you tie
Right,
the
right.
plastic bag. But the paper bag, that was impossible.
oh, I got what you mean. So, you means that it must be depend on what kind
Yeah,
of
I think
food.
it's depend on what things you want to carry or some items which are packaged. Yeah, they are packaged in a good package, so it can keep fresh. So it's okay to use paper bags or other material bags. But for things you would like to keep it fresh, I think the plastic bag is a good choice for them.
How do you think of this, Kenneth?
Well, although plastic bags maybe in some areas rarely causes some inconvenience, but we also still should promote new materials bags to replace plastic bags gradually. Maybe it needs a long-term exercise, but but I hope in the near future we can find a good solution.
Yeah, I agree with you about this. Maybe the government should take some actions. For example, the government could collect plastic bag from every domestic home or from a family, and they will utilize. Maybe it could be utilized to generate power. Do you think? Because it can in some heat when you burn it. So I think governments could collect them and treat them maybe in a more friendly ways, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is the benefits and the risk of plastic bags, but not what the government should do. I think we should talk about the plastic bags, but not the policies.
Right.
Right. So maybe we can raise the awareness of public to use another bags.
It means that we need to educate students or children or even some adults to learn the risks and the drawbacks of plastic bags, and thus they will choose their maybe they will change their ways of use plastic bags. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think it's quite useful. How do you think of this, Zach?
I think it's
Necessary.
yeah, I think it's necessary to raise the public awareness of how to use plastic bags in a correct ways.
Yeah.
But not just ban them. I think it's depend on people's choose. Choosing people. I think for the public, they need to choose the time or I mean, it's their right to choose use plastic bags or not for their daily life, but I think there should be some limitation of plastic bags, but not definitely ban the plastic bags. I mean,
Okay.
I got what you mean. You mean that education cannot solve this problem in a short term. It's still a long way to
Yeah,
go.
it's
So
still
we can utilize plastic bags in a short term, but for long term, maybe some alternative strategies must
yeah, I
be.
think when the technology has been developed in some in some places, and there must be some materials can replace the plastic bags, and it is cheap and convenience enough like the plastic bags.
Yeah, so in conclusion, we all think we don't can we don't ban the plastic, just limit it, because the plastic, I mean, is the indispensable thing of our daily life. Maybe with the technology improving, some we can find another material bags substitute for the plastic bags, but it's not now.
Right.
Yeah.
So right now, I think the first thing we need to do is to help public
Yeah,
aware of it.
have a awareness
Yeah.
of
Right.
the drawbacks of plastic bags.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the
And
finish.
they will realize how the plastic can do harm to our environment, and maybe they will choose to reduce their use of plastic bags.
Right.
For limited it, the government also can make some rules, such as limited the number of plastic bags, or make some
Policy.
I think
Yeah.
make some tax or
Policy.
yes,
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 yes.
tax for plastic bags. So we all refuse to ban the plastic.
Yeah, I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
They refuse to ban, but limit it.
Right.
Yeah, just limited.
Mm.